What's good, Danger Zone Boxing Talk? It's your boy BC Left Hook. I'm back with another edition, and tonight we're going to start a segment that I'm hoping to continue on the page. We're going to take a look at amateur fighters coming up in the United States system. I do have a couple fighters from the UK that I do have some plans to speak with as well, but particularly in the United States. And
Thanks, so. Pone que no me escuchan. Oh, there we go.
There we go. All right, we'll get back. Do apologize. We're having a storm here in Virginia. Looked like it knocked out my internet for a minute. But again, let me start over. We are going to try to talk to young pugilists, particularly from the United States, find out what's going on in the amateur scene right now. As I was stating, I have the pleasure tonight of having Maximus Castro and his father and trainer, Hector Castro. Correct me if I'm wrong, but do you currently have the WBC green strap?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. And funny story of how this all came about. One day I was on my Instagram, and I don't have a lot of Instagram followers as of right now, so I pay attention every time someone follows me. And I got a notification, and I was like, "Well, hold on, that kid's got a green belt," and I'm trying to think who currently WBC champion. I don't know anybody, so I clicked on his IG, and that's when I was like, "Oh, wait a minute." So I went to YouTube. His name is about four or five fights popped up, and a couple highlight videos, and I took notice, and I was like, "Oh man, I want to interview this kid." So I sent him a message on IG. I don't think he's seen that. I even went as far as I reached out to Emily. I can't say her last name because I'll butcher it, but she runs Emily Boxing out in Arizona. She's connected with Iron Boy because I'd seen he had some Iron Boy stuff on there. I reached out to her. But in between her getting back to me, I actually had received a friend request from his father. But I'd actually been friends with Maximus on Facebook since 2017. And so I went to message him again. I was like, oh wait, he's already my friend on Facebook. Bet I'm gonna send him a message. And then I got your dad, and so we worked it out. And I'm glad to have you guys here. And Maximus, you want to introduce yourself and tell us about where you're fighting at? Tell us about some of the accomplishments you've obtained in pugilism.
I mean, I've been fighting since I was like 8 years old, and I've been going through nationals. I've done silver gloves. I won there. I done Utah, freaking Kansas City. I done mostly all the national tournaments and mostly won them all and got really good high placement. And since then, I mean, I just kept going and going and training hard and everything. But right now, since the COVID-19 incident, I don't know what I can do for right now. Just, I think I'm just gonna turn pro when I'm 18.
I remember, I think when me and your dad were having a conversation, he had mentioned that. Now, what have you guys been doing? Because we've been asking all the trainers. We had Rudy Hernandez, Roger Romo, Derek James. Something that we've asked all of them. What are you guys doing right now because of the COVID situation?
I mean, we're just training. I'm just gonna stay ready for our next fight, and honestly, I just might just keep training till like the next fight or next show might happen, any regard or anything that pops up.
Well, Ben, the good thing about me and Maxim is that we have our gym in our backyard, so that we're lucky to just train out of the backyard and nothing fancy, but we just stay ready because I know it's gonna pop up any minute, so that's just staying ready for the next show.
Understandable. Now, Hector, you have been his trainer his entire life, correct?
Um, sort of. I had help. When he was a little kid, I had other coaches. Because my job, I do construction. And I used to travel a lot. So I had a couple coaches help me, but now my job is stable. So I just decided to just me and him. Who knows more his son better than I. I just we do our own thing, and we travel too, and we have a lot of friends in California, Las Vegas, and we do a lot of sparring out there too.
Okay. What originally got you into coaching? What was it that made you decide that I want to teach the youth boxing?
Well, Max, my oldest, he used to do boxing too. He's in the military right now, and but he started boxing also when he was little before Max, and he was getting actually bullied at school. So I told him, you know what, man, let me teach you, how to box. So he that's how he started, and he started learning, and then Maximus. I mean, Maximus just a natural. Maximus just he wanted to do it. I kind of didn't want Max to do boxing at first because we're all my family are soccer fans, and but he said, no, Dad, I want to do boxing now. That's all he does. So that's how we started. Yeah, and then because of Maximus, we have other kids. They come to us, and we're working with other good talent too now.
Awesome. And I have to say he's done a good job. When I was watching him, it wasn't the offensive output. Not that there's anything wrong with what you do offensively, but a lot of kids throw good combinations. What I noticed when I was watching was your defensive awareness. You
Mhm.
are defensively responsible,
Yeah.
and that's something that don't get taught to a lot of youth, unfortunately. Even to a lot of pros, if you watch them, they have absolutely no defensive responsibility. They just go out there and they're throwing combinations. But I really like that. So you have been well taught. Um, is there a particular fighter that maybe you would say you're kind of you tailored yourself after, or do you have a particular favorite fighter currently?
So far, I always looked up to Canelo, and right now, I look up to most right now is Virgil Ortiz right now too, because me and him are always like we were trained together, and I always like look at him like, oh man, I just want to be like him. He was so good, so very skilled, very confident. very calm as well. He was like motivated for this sport.
Okay, that's he is a good fighter.
Yeah.
He's a very good fighter. Canelo, especially, I could see that in your style because you do, like I said, you are defensively aware. Not a lot of the young pros are even defensively responsible, but your father's done an excellent job. What's it like? Did you? Am I right? Were you on the national USA team?
I was planning to go with him, but unfortunately I couldn't go. So I was like, oh man, I was just gonna keep training with my coach and just stay busy. And I stayed home and just kept training, training, training. So that was it.
Just because he had a hand injury last year that he couldn't compete or nothing like that. But now that hand injury, it's cured and it's good to go. But he missed a lot of last year. He missed a lot of tournaments because of a hand injury.
Okay, understandable. How's that hand now?
Oh, it's fine, perfect.
Oh,
Okay.
okay, okay. What's your normal day like? I know you're 17. You're still in school. What's your normal day like though?
Well, my normal day is just to wake up in the morning, go to the gym, to Gent's gym over there. And then I come back home, do my school, and then I train again in the afternoon, and just after that go to bed, and that's it. Just repeat like that every day.
Okay. What is the best part of training with your father, and what's the worst part of training with your father?
I mean, the best part is just, I mean, he's my dad. I just love training with my dad, and the worst part, sometimes uh, he, sometimes he's just like, I don't know. He pushes me. I mean, he pushes me hard. That's good and all, but like sometimes he messes with me.
He's got to be on you, man. He knows what he knows what he sees in you, And just want to give you some advice. Not that it's for you in particular. It's basically for all the young fighters right now. Um, if you take a look at our society, nothing that you say or do on social media is hidden from
Mhm.
anyone. I don't want you or any of the younger fighters that have a bright future to post something now or even be mindful of what something you may have posted in the past
Okay.
and go get rid of it
Yeah.
and watch what you post because you see people in the media once you make it
Mhm.
they're going to try to find some way to nitpick you. They
Yeah.
did it to Kyle. I don't know if you know Kyler Murray is. They did it to
Um,
Kyler Murray. They
yeah.
found a tweet from when he was like 15 years old. It was just this is ridiculous. But so I'll warn you all. Be mindful of what you post and what you have posted in the past. Not that there's any you've done anything personally. Just I want you guys to take that advice because I don't want to see one of you young guys. Because the truth is, like people say, well, Floyd Mayweather made 300, and 60 million in 30 minutes. No, it wasn't 30 minutes. You know what I mean? It was a lifetime of being in that gym. And I know that because I watch your fights, you're in good shape when you fight. So I know you're dedicated. And now, Hector, there is something I was wanting to ask you about when I haven't really. I'm just now really starting to really get into the amateurs, check out the fighters, learn the rules, and because they are different than the professional in some aspects. One of the things that I just don't know if I agree with is when our kids, because we're seeing our kids in the Olympics fall short. We haven't had a male gold medalist since Andre Ward. And one of the biggest issues for me when I look, at least from the outside in, is why are we making these kids switch trainers when they go to the Olympic team? It doesn't seem right to me. What are your thoughts on that?
I totally agree. I don't see that fair. But that's USA boxing. We don't have any control over that because if that kid made it and he won nationals. I mean, I think the coach should be in there. I think I agree 100% of what you're saying, and that's why when they go to Europe or when they go to compete, they don't have, the fighter doesn't have that confidence to, to win, because the other coach doesn't know him that well, like you do. You do with your fighter. So I think that's where we're slacking.
I agree 100% too, and I think because you're with your fighters so much, you not only know when something's wrong in the ring, but if something's on their mind outside of it that they may need to be spoken to about. Where a guy who's just only met them, now I'm not saying the trainers that they're using are bad. Don't get me wrong. It's just I would rather see a guy like you who's built Maximus up to this level. Obviously, you've done a great enough job to get them to the Olympics. You know what I mean? To the at least the I just don't understand why they would make that switch. And then again, on the other side is being around the fighters. You might need to notice something like, "Hey, this is on his mind. I need to speak to him." Because you've been around him, you'll know what to tell him, what advice to give him. I just don't agree with it at all. Now, I have noticed too. There's a couple different styles in the amateurs. Would you say you've trained him more towards the pro style or more towards the amateur style?
Well, I like the pro. I like the pro style just because he's gonna need it. He's pretty close to turning pro. Unfortunately, he's underage right now, and we'll have to wait another 4 years for him to go to Olympics. So I don't know if we want to. We're, of course, we're gonna go for another national, and after that, we'll probably just go pro. But a little bit of both, when they were kids, we concentrate nothing but amateur style, when he was 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. But now, now we just concentrate on picking our punches because he's bigger, he's stronger, his timing is really good, his defense is very good. So now we just, you could win, you could win easily picking your punches and making sure that, you're picking them apart.
And that's an excellent point you just made. And I wanted to ask too. COVID has changed the world. I'm sure you had a lot of plans of going overseas pre-COVID. Has COVID changed your mind a little bit about is it worth the risk of going over and fighting in an international tournament?
Um, at this point right now, actually, it's funny that you asked that because my son is in South Korea right now because he's in the military, and we got invited. We actually got invited in South Korea for a tournament that Maxi was going to compete. So it was going to be a good, good experience, going overseas and compete with other international kids. But they canceled everything. Actually, they canceled our flights and they canceled everything. And right now, even my son that is stationed over there, he can't come over right now because of COVID-19.
I know I seen his video. He says he's gonna come back and give you a boxing lesson, Max.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
I mean, let's see what happens. That's all I gotta say.
I think I would take you right now. I would see, to be fair, I haven't seen his boxing skills either. But
Yeah.
from what I've seen, I think I would favor you as well. Well, it's about time for us to close out. It was a outstanding interview, and I do wish you well, Hector. You've done an awesome job. Continue to watch over him and train him, and you know what's best for him. Don't let anyone else tell you what to do. And I want to thank you guys for coming on and just talking with me, and maybe we could do it again in the future.
Yeah,
Oh,
for sure.
thank you so much for the invite, and for the record, he won 2 WBC belts, so he has 2 of them.
Oh, nice. You have them both in your crib?
Yeah.
Awesome. I always see the one on IG. What you need to do is take you a picture with them both. That way everybody knows. All right. Well, thank you guys for coming on, and once again, I'm hoping to do this once a week with different amateur fighters from around the country. So if you're a amateur coach and you have a special amateur fighter, then jump in my inbox and we can set something up. Till then, I want everybody to have a blessed day, and once again, to my DZB family, I'm going to try to bring you the best content available. Y'all have a great day. Bye.
All right. Bye.
All right. Oh,